So I've been told the first $100,000 saved is the hardest, so I'm kind of pumped on this investment milestone. So in this video, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of my $100,000 investment portfolio from my 403bs to my 457s, my brokerage accounts, my Roth IRAs, everything top to bottom. I'll show you exactly what I'm invested in, what mutual funds I have, and also give you some advice and some things that I've learned along the way. Everything from investing while paying off debt to paying off your mortgage versus investing, all these things that I've had to come across over the last year and a half to 2 years that I've been investing. First, we'll start at almost like the beginning, before I started my debt-free journey. And I wasn't really investing, but I was contributing to my 403b at my school. And I was contributing with Voya, which I know now was a terrible, terrible decision. My first piece of advice: do not just go with a 403b or a 401 company that people are talking about at work, or the guy comes and talks at your staff development. Guys, those are salesmen, all right? So Voya, they're an insurance company by trade. They're not a financial institution. And the fees and things, that's kind of when I made that video about how I hated the 403b, because I was getting crushed in Voya fees. But when I started my debt-free journey back in September 2017, Dave Ramsey told me that I wasn't allowed to make any more investments, that I had to focus all my money on paying off debt. So I stopped contributing to both those 403b for my wife and for myself, as well as my brokerage account, which I'll get to in 1 second. And at that time in September 2017, my wife and I, we had similar balances. Hers was a little less than 20,000, mine I think was a little bit more than 20,000, and we have not contributed to that Voya fund since then. Well, as of Friday, mine has grown to a little over $38,000, and Tara's has grown to just under $30,000. And we both have identical funds inside both of those 403b plans, which we did not have in 2017. In 2017, I had the mix of funds that they suggested, and I looked back and they were all actively managed funds with these enormous fees, and I said, nope, nope, nope. I took all of my contributions and I put them into one index fund, the cheapest one I could find at the lowest expense, and it tracks the S&P 500. It's from Fidelity. I'll give you a look at, here's what it is right here. It's the Fidelity VIP Index 500. It's got those top companies: Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and it has an expense ratio of 0.15%. Now, granted, Voya's admin fees are still pretty high, but because we're not really contributing and we're not really growing that portfolio, they're taking a minimal amount. And people ask me all the time, Brad, why didn't you transfer that 403b into the one that you're using currently? And that's because I'm still at the same employer. So to do so, I would have to pay Voya about $700 for my wife and for myself to move them and combine the two. So I'm allowed to have both. So just to avoid that $1,400 in fees, I just keep this where it is. I don't touch it. I really haven't even looked at it in a really long time. And that's just where that is right now. But that's about half of my investment portfolio right now. So who has our 403b now? Well, our 403bs now are with Vanguard. Tara's is directly in Vanguard, and as you can see, she uses VTSAX, a small balance in there. We just got out of debt and we just started contributing, and I'll get to the whole debt versus investing thing in just a second. Now, I also have my 403b through Vanguard, but it's to a third-party company called Aspire. Super low fees. I think they charge me like $20 per year, and I have everything in my 403b going into VTSAX, the same exact as my wife's. And our 403b plans actually take a back seat to our 457 plans. Now, if you don't know what the 457 is, I've made a ton of videos about it. I'll link it down in the description below. But the real reason that we go with the 457 first, as far as our priority and what we contribute to first, is because it does not have a penalty for withdrawal before the age of 60 if you leave your job. So if I want to retire early and resign from my position, I can take the funds from my 457 without any penalty, unlike the 403b, where I have to wait till I'm 59 and a half. Now, it's looking like I'm going to max both my 457 and my 403b this year, so that's not really a huge concern. But if you have the option for both the 403b and the 457, think about that contribution age and having to wait till you're 60 as opposed to just waiting till you have to leave your job before you make a decision between which one is going to be the best priority for you. Now, granted, the amount of funds that you have available and the fees, the 403Me might be a better option. But for me, I had pretty similar funds, pretty similar expense ratios. So for me, going into the 457 first, that was a better option for me. And as far as the fund that we have inside our 457, you guessed it, another index fund. It has a super low expense ratio of 0.01%, and it is called the New York State Deferred Compensation Board Equity Index. And my 457 has a little over $4,500 in it. My wife's a little over $2,000. The discrepancy there was when she took maternity leave, she wasn't contributing towards that, so that's why mine's a little ahead. Both, once again, a little bit small. We just started investing in these, but they're growing quickly. The last of our retirement funds are the Roth IRA. Both Tara and I have Roth IRAs with Vanguard. You've seen all the videos I've done with Vanguard. I'll leave that playlist in the description and down in the comments if you've not seen it or know how much I love Vanguard. But we contributed to our Roth IRAs last year and we maxed it out in 2018 for both of us. And currently in 2019, we're working on that as well. In 2020, though, it looks like we are going to go over the income limit and we're going to have to utilize the backdoor Roth. I've talked about this before and people have asked if I can make a video on the backdoor and how you can contribute to the Roth IRA if you're over the income limit. Trust me, that video is coming soon. So right now we have maxed 2018s and we're right about there for 2019. Remember, guys, you have till April 15th to contribute to 2019, then start contributing to 2020. My Roth has a little over $12,000 in it. Tara's has a little over $10,000 in it. And we're super happy with how this fund has performed in just the year and a half that we've had it. Last, guys, is our brokerage accounts. And this is like the one that everyone gets all excited about. You see all these dividend portfolios. If you saw my video about brokerage accounts, you know how I feel about them. I personally am not utilizing one. I have them from before my debt-free journey, but I just want to show you exactly what I have in brokerage accounts right now. I use Vanguard for one of my brokerage accounts, and right now it has one thing in it, and that is VNQ from way back when I made a video with Q Makes It Happen. I collected some change. I put all that change into a REIT. I haven't touched it since then. It's actually up a couple bucks, and I'm a little over $300 with that REIT. The rest is my Robinhood portfolio for both my wife and I. I'm going to show you in a second. I sold off my entire Robinhood portfolio back in September, but what I did do is I left the free stocks from the referrals from you guys signing up from Robinhood. Here's what I have as far as the free referrals. So my entire Robinhood portfolio is from free stocks, and people ask me all the time, like, do you get good stocks? Mine, I actually got very, very lucky. Let me show you exactly the free stocks that I've received for Robinhood over the last year. First, this is my wife's portfolio. It has WPG. I've gotten 52 free shares of that for a value of $140. Microsoft was the big one. I got that for $185, and you'll see that's not even the biggest free stock that I've gotten. I got 4 shares of GE, that's at a value of $51 right now, and I got 7 shares of Ford. So that total free portfolio is $436. Thank you guys so much for those referrals. If you're interested in Robinhood, I'll leave the link down below. You'll get a stock, we'll get some more stocks. Good times. Here is my Robinhood portfolio, and look at the top. I actually got these in back-to-back free referrals. That's right. I got Berk B, 2 shares of Berk B in back-to-back referrals back in December. It was a glorious freaking day. But the unfortunate thing is you only get $500 a year in free stocks. So this pretty much maxed out my entire portfolio as far as free stocks are allowed. But I'll take it. I got 2 shares of Berk B. The next free one I got, Canopy Growth, that's from my boy JJ Buckner. If you saw on Instagram, we had a bet in the Super Bowl. We bet the coin toss for a share of Canopy Growth. I won. Tails never fails, JJ. So he had to buy me a share of Canopy Growth. There it is. The rest are from referrals. GE, 2 shares. GME, 3 shares. VRAY, 1 share. And AMRX, 1 share. To be honest, I don't really know what any of those are, but I know that I'm going to hold them for at least a year so that I don't have to pay short-term capital gains if there's any capital gains or on the dividends. So I'm just holding these. They're kind of hanging out, but there's my portfolio, $553. It's actually gone over 500 because of the growth of Berk B, so let's go. Before we get out of here, guys, I want to talk about my investing strategy while I was paying off debt and if anything would change. While I was paying off debt, guys, I did not contribute to my 403Bs, 457s, Roth IRAs, nothing like that. It was pretty much because I was a Dave Ramsey fanboy, and some things probably would change. If I could go back now, I probably would contribute to my Roth because that's time sensitive. You don't get those years back. I definitely, if you have an employee match, I didn't at the time. If you have an employee match, even if you have debt, that's free money. Please at least meet your employee match. But one move that I did make, you can see this is a graph from pretty much May of last year to now. And as it goes on over time, you could see it pretty much stayed steady. That's because I was not contributing. So these were all growths and bumps in the market. I realized in early September that I could sell off my brokerage account, my Robinhood account, which had about $15,000 in it from before my debt-free journey. I realized I can sell that off and I could be debt-free at that particular day. And that came with a lot of controversy. People told me not to do that. And what I thought in my head was, I can sell this off and be debt-free guaranteed. And then I'll have all this debt money. At the time, I was paying $3,500 a month towards my debt minimums. I'll be able to grow that 15 back in 5 months, guaranteed. But if I don't, I'm going to be paying debt back for at least 5 more months. And there could be a bubble or a pullback. And now my portfolio could go down literally to zero. So I made the conscious choice to pay that off. And like I said, it came with a lot of criticism. So you could see on September 15th, I had about $94,000 worth of investments. I sold that off, and a couple days later, I had $75,000. But what I really want you to see is from September to now, how much it's just gone straight up since I paid off my debt. Guys, my advice to you, don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. Get rid of your debt. You'll have time to invest afterwards. Look what happened to me. Not only did I make back that 15, but I added another 15 on top of it with growth in the last 6 months. Get rid of your debt, guys. I'm telling you, you have time to grow your investments. It will happen. So how are we investing right now? Well, my wife and I currently, every single month, we are putting in $3,000 total to our 403Bs and our 457s. We are going to max those out. And we get hundreds of dollars every month from tax savings by doing so. We're also putting $1,000 a month onto our Roth IRAs, which will max our Roth IRAs out for 2020. That puts us at about $4,000 that we're investing into our retirement every single month, with $3,000 of it being tax deferred. We are still currently not putting any money into our brokerage accounts. The rest of our investments, which is about $2,500 to $3,000 every single month, is going to growing our cash portfolio for future things like the car that we're going to need soon because Tara's lease is going to be up in May, and also our first real estate investment, which is hopefully going to be happening before the summertime. And we have a goal to double this investment portfolio from $100,000 to $200,000 before the new year. Good luck with your investing, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to see that Vanguard playlist, I'll leave it right here, show you everything there is to know about Vanguard. And down here, I'll leave my most recent net worth video from after the new year, which I do every single quarter. And until I see you in the next one, guys, stay positive, work really, really hard, always be kind to other people. I hope you have yourself an amazing day and an even better tomorrow.